everybody, it's Kimberly Washington, also known as Kim Sense. And just a little bit about me. I'm a former IRS agent. I used to work for the Internal Revenue Service as a revenue agent and also a criminal investigator. I also own Washington CPA Services, where I provide financial and tax services to small business owners. Just to give you an idea of some of the services that we do provide is number one, QuickBooks setup and servicing on a monthly basis. Number two, we also provide tax assistance as it relates to tax planning, tax representation if you have some issues with Internal Revenue Service, and also tax preparation for small businesses too as well. We do also a lot of work with nonprofits. So as it relates to setting up an entity, setting up a nonprofit, we also help individuals and small entities concerning those different options that they may have. So that's just a little bit of some of the services that we provide. So today I want to talk to you just quickly about some things that you want to keep in mind as a small business owner. The first thing you do want to keep in mind is make sure that you have your financial records in order. This was a big deal in 2020 as it relates to COVID, financial assistance, SBA, PPP, all of these different options that small business owners had to apply for financial assistance. Some of them ran into a roadblock. Why? Because they couldn't answer the questions, rather, how much money did I make last year? Did my revenue actually drop? What was my revenue last year? They didn't have a basis. Did I pay payroll? Did I pay it the right way, right? Some people said, okay, I paid cash or to this person or another, but that's not the way to go about it. You want to make sure that your records are in order. So that's why it's good to have a financial professional on team. I often like to tell my clients that basically that service, it pays for itself because you're reducing penalties. You have your paperwork in order when it's time. See those clients who have their paperwork in order? They didn't have to wait to get the PPP or the EIDL or whatever assistance that they needed because everything was in order. So that's the first thing you want to make sure is to keep your financial records in order. The second thing you want to do is make sure that you're on time with your tax return filings. That's also a big deal. We saw it with COVID, but we also saw it with Hurricane Katrina too as well. Let me explain. I can recall at that time SBA during Hurricane Katrina, they asked all these business owners, hey, we can provide you with financial assistance, but can you provide those tax returns? And of course, some of them was like, I never filed for my business. I never filed my income for my business. That could be a big concern. So you want to make sure that every year you're filing your taxes. You want to do it accurately, and as it relates to making sure that you have the documents in place concerning your tax filing. Another thing that you want to keep in mind, this is also a big deal, and this is why it's so important to make certain that you're working with a CPA. You also want to make certain that, number one, that you have the right type of tax entity. So what does that mean? Maybe a sole proprietor, but maybe you should be an S corporation. Maybe a partnership, but maybe you should be a corporation. Whatever the case may be, running those numbers and determining whether or not which one can give me the lowest tax liability, not what I feel or what someone told me. That's not the way you go about it. Just because somebody else is doing it that way does not mean you do it that way. And it also depends on the type of business that you have too. It's so many different factors. So that's another reason why you want to work with a CPA concerning that. You also want to consider services, something that we provide too, as well as tax representation. Let's say, for instance, if you're working with a CPA and you receive a letter and say, okay, you owe additional money to the IRS. You don't have to be like, oh my God, what happened, right? You can just stop and say, okay, talk to your CPA and make sure you have that relationship. Say, what are they asking for? What it is that I need. And so with that, you can gather the documents that you need, provide that information with the Internal Revenue Service, making certain you have someone good on your team to tell you, okay, you need to do A, B, C, and D, and it can help you reduce maybe a proposal, a tax proposal that the IRS is proposing that you may owe additional money, but in reality, maybe you don't. Maybe it is a misunderstanding, but you may have to make certain that you have someone on your team ready to help you with that. Definitely check out my company. It's Washington CPA Services, LLC. You can go to our website at washcpallc.com. And of course, you can find out more information there. You can follow me at KimSense. That's KEMCENTS. Thanks so much. Pray that everyone's having a blessed day. God bless and take care.